in the separate area of the large yard. About the time the sun was fixing to set, and we packed up the trucks, just as we were about to enjoy a clean getaway, we heard the lilting voice of Miss Bayou calling for her beloved Noodles, Noodles. Well, Jed, Julep, and I exchanged nervous glances as she approached. Have y'all seen Noodles? I did not realize he was not up at the house until my bridge card club left, and it's just not like him to go missing. Jed looked her straight in the eye, and without a moment's hesitation responded, No, ma'am, but I'm sure he's close by, and I'm sure he'll never leave your yard. Miss Bayou said, Why, Jed, that's the nicest thing to say to comfort an old lady like me. I'm looking forward to seeing y'all next week. You know, my hibiscus bushes have not been doing very well this season. Maybe you could put down some sort of specialized fertilizer to, help it along. And Jed looked her straight in the eye and responded, We'll think of something. Bye now. For the next several weeks, we witnessed Miss Bayou tacking up lost cat signs, calling out for Noodles, Noodles. It about broke your heart if you had one for Noodles. Anyhow, by next summer's visit, Miss Bayou's hibiscus bushes were just incredible to enjoy. She just kept asking Jed to give her the secret ingredient of that special fertilizer that had breathed a second life into her hibiscus bushes. But Jed firmly declined. If she only knew that second life was Noodles. Little did she know I would bear witness, or did I know I would bear witness to a second but equally alarming cat incident. This time it took place at the lovely home of the constant battling Mr. and Mrs. Bickerson. They had one of the largest pictures windows I had ever seen, and it looked out over their sprawling backyard. Just below that gigantic window was a very ornate couch. As yet unknown to Precious and Dearest, the Bickersons had recently acquired a beautiful white Persian cat named Fifi. That cat loved nothing better than to lounge lazily on the back of that ornate couch and gaze out that big window, dreaming of catching birdies. As Julep and I worked diligently pulling weeds adjacent flower bed, we witnessed something right out of an action movie. Although it took only minutes, it still plays slow motion in my mind. Precious and Dearest had been, as Daddy, former military man, called it, marching the grounds, checking on each of us in turn with a sniff and a lick. When they got to Julep and I, they suddenly noticed Fifi in full cat stretch napping on the other side of that big window. I remember hearing Julep call out, Oh, no, this ain't going to be good. Precious and Dearest had zeroed in on Fifi and locked in their deadly sights. There was no known off switch for Precious or Dearest. They both launched into the air with such speed and force it about knocked us back. With super dog powers never before seen, they broke through that big old window in one fluid motion. I must say that sound of that much shattering glass will blow your ears clean out. I can't quite see it from Fifi's perspective, but how she knew to flee the scene and head for safety, I'll never know. Fifi did a tuck, duck, and roll maneuver worthy of a trapeze artist. Fifi instantly hit the speed of a bullet fired out of a gun and clawed her way across the living room carpets, up the winding staircase, and dove under the Bickersons' queen-size bed. Fifi knew her territory, and she landed with perfect precision midpoint under the headboard of the queen-size bed. This location, as it turned out, was impossible for either Precious or Dearest to gain access to Fifi's tender neck. The noise generated from all the shattering glass, continuing barking, growling, snapping jawed, hissing, howling, and screams of horror got everybody's undivided attention. Daddy and the boys climbed through the now glass-free picture window, collared Precious and Dearest, and removed them to the security of the truck passenger cab. Daddy was just beside himself, apologizing and assuring the Bickersons that the window would be replaced and the glass all picked up by sundown. He had good insurance. He valued them as longtime customer. He pressed on with the promise of having them never have to see Precious or Dearest again. All of us were now standing in all the glass, and to our utter amazement, the Bickersons responded with genuine concern. not to worry. It's our fault. Having been warned and all about the uncontrollable urges of your cat-chasing guard dogs, what we really want to go see is Precious and Dearest and make sure they are not injured. Any injury to a family pet is just unbearable. Apparently, they did not consider the near-death experience by Fifi as by the neck snapping Precious and Dearest as actual pet injury. Go figure. And I was there to see it. Oh, what fun.
That's great. Now, is this part of a book you're writing? Is
yes,
this like
it's part of the Recipes for a Life Less Ordinary. It's one of the stories.
Okay, great.
And with all these pro bono hours and really wanting to get a life, I am going to make this my priority this 2012.
I have to tell you that Daddy in the story reminds me of my Uncle Joel from Arkansas. I can just see the face, hear the voice, and his thing was, if he couldn't figure out what was going on, he would just hit everybody.
That's right.
And then ask questions later.
That's exactly
right. And
if
nobody was going to confess, everybody was going to get the whipping.
That's right.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
And nobody ever did step forward.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
No. There was a definite pecking order amongst all those cousins. I knew exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
That's funny. Huh, so do you actually have a Southern cousin?
Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do.
That's interesting.
And so that was fun.
That brought it all back for me. I really enjoyed that. Yeah. I remember when I was about, 12 or 13, I guess we spent a long summer in Arkansas. My brother and my mom and I were there, and all the cousins were there. And my girl cousins and I decided that we were going to go out. We were going to get a suntan. And, it's hot and humid. And my grandmother was just beside herself. She said, "What are you girls doing out in that sun? You get back in this house, you're going to get as brown as Indian." That's what they said back then.
Oh, yes.
And
so politically incorrect.
Exactly. And so it was the gloves and the hat and the umbrella, and that's how she would go to church. I mean, she would have big, deep, crazy.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
And I've always wondered, because it was in the South, it really is different and quite special. It really is. But everybody putting on their Sunday best right down to the shoes. And talk about the women, it's just like they never sweat. They might dab themselves.
Ladies glow.
They glow, and there might be a fan every now and then, but it was always the dyed perfect same color as the suit and the hat going on. And I always thought, wow, that's something.
So when do you find time to write?
Well, not a lot lately.
With
that's
the 1,000 hours and all of
that's going to change. Though,
okay.
That this is finishing up this book, and it's so close to being done.
Really?
It's my priority for 2012. Good. Because, I've been talking about this book for several years, and people keep saying they think I'm making it up. They're like, what book? You talk about it, but it never appears. And so anyway, and my dear mother, bless her heart, is helping doing the editing and whatnot.
Okay, good. I was going to ask you, do you have an agent or?
Nowadays we went to, my partner and I went to a Willamette Writers Conference, and there's pros and cons on having an agent, unless you're in the magnitude of our Rowling with Harry Potter or Grisham with all his. But there's a lot to be said for e-publishing, through Amazon and Kindle and all that kind of thing. And then kind of seeing, if it really takes off from there or not. It's really see what happens. And I figured, if I forced everybody at gunpoint that I knew, which are many people in this community, to buy a copy, I probably would break even.
So in terms of editing, then, if you're going to self-publish, you're pretty much on your own for editing, although I know there are services.
Oh, yes.
You can...
And I have some of those on backup, too. I ain't no fool. I want it to really, put out a decent product.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm looking for someone to help me with snazzy up with the artwork and stuff.
Okay, all that.
Yeah, and think up just, some just crazy, crazy recipes to divide the chapters and stories up with, because it's not really a cookbook, But anyway.
I like it. I think that. I think that's great. So, and are you still doing some stand-up comedy?
Not as much as I would like, but I have told any organization that thinks I might be worthy of a few bucks to help kill time on one of their auctions or fundraisers or a keynote speaker or whatever. I'm telling you, I got a bag of tricks and stories, an absolute mile deep.
Good. Okay, great. So you're finally getting serious about this. After futzing around with it for year after year, and I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. But, I mean, it's really hard in your business when you're...
It is, when you're working hard. And plus, you know, getting old is not for sissies. I just underwent my second knee surgery.
Did you really?
Yeah, knee replacement surgery.
Really?
And, yeah, my age, it's just a genetic deuce, rheumatoid arthritis.
Yee.
And so now, you know, that I've had them both replaced, I've run out of knees, so I'm good. There's no more
Now,
surgeries.
what's in there? Is it plastic or titanium? I mean, do you set off the alarms at the airport, or?
You know, the technology at the airports has improved enough where you don't set off the alarms, you know, but I honestly don't know exactly, nor I guess did I press for details when they were trying to explain it all. It's just horrifying.
As long as it's not a pig heart, right?
That's right. You know, I'm like, oh, spare me the details.
Yeah,
but
whatever.
I do so try to get, you know, all the doctors and nurses at the hospital just laughing up the storm, because that's my way of dealing with being nervous. The more nervous I am, the more they're dying laughing, you know, saying, stop, we have to, you know, let's mask her. We got to get her into the surgery.
So when you were, after the knee replacement surgery, did you have a long rehab? I mean, did you have to stay home, or were you able to go to work right away?
Well, my doctor's orders were quite strict, you know, to you know, stay home and take it easy for 6 weeks and work on that physical therapy. And for the self-employed, that would cause me to lose my house and my job and my car and not be able to buy food, all of which, you know, are not good. So sadly, I had to go back much sooner than I thought, but I had a bedazzled walker that I borrowed from my ancient mother, and I put my own little streamers on it, you know, like on a bike, and a little bike bell, ring, 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 ring. So I was going crippling down the hall. I could just get out the way. The gimp's coming through. Oh, and I milked it too. I tell you, I got called first on all my cases, and I never had to stand up when the judge entered the courtroom.
Wow,
that's running out quick, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, sadly.
Okay, so now that like you've milked that sympathy bid for all it's worth.
But I did get the one thing, Department of Motor Vehicles, the one and only thing the Department of Motor Vehicles gives out for free, a crippled sticker.
Oh, did you?
But you got to get like a knee or a hip removed to get it. But by God,
I've lost my leg, but I've got the sticker.
But by God, I got a free sticker, and so I get to throughout the Christmas season, I get front door parking.
Wow, that's really nice. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So now that people have heard this publicly on television, there's no excuse for you not coming up with a decent gift.
That's true, especially if you get front row parking. And I'll take my sisters with me, who will actually, just like Precious and Dearest, drop, tuck, and roll anybody for the last on sale now at 4 in the morning, while I'll sit in the car with the heater going.
Exactly.
Reading my book.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's really great. I'm glad that we finally got a chance to, you know, connect with this piece of it, and I'm really glad to see what you're up to, because I really did want to hear this. I like that. That's good.
Yes. Well, hopefully next year, when I tell you what new and improved things I'm in on, since you'll have the finished copy. Oh yeah, you know, with artwork and all that, and I of course give you the very first signed copy of my dearest friend. Yes,
a first edition,
a first edition,
priceless first
edition. And remember always, as they say on Antique Roadshow, keep the jacket cover. Apparently that's a
don't take Barbie out of the box.
Don't take Barbie out of the box.
Whatever you do. Well, Janmarie, thank you so much for being here today. It's been fabulous to catch up with you, and I can't wait to see you again.
Thank you for having me.